Hey YouTubers, Electric Adventures here, and this is my response to PsimanUK's open tag about the 6 games you would select to go in an arcade cabinet with no more than 4 controllers and 6 buttons each. I had a hard time reducing this down to 6, but I think I've got a game that represents different segments and would keep me happy very long time. Alright, I'll go through each of the games in turn with talk through the gameplay video. Thank you. Hey YouTubers, Electric Adventures here. Just going through the 6 games I would have in an arcade cabinet with normal stick control and up to 6 buttons. Now the first one, I'm doing them sort of favourites order, is Time Pilot. One of my favourite games of all time. Used to use up a lot of my money and time back when I was a college student, or probably earlier than college student, probably even high school days. Used to be quite good at it. Not sure whether I'm as good at it nowadays. It has 5 levels, lots of variety, gets introduces new features and items on every level, and it's various ways of building up and scoring a good score. I was actually able, when I played it, to go through the game twice, so all 5 levels twice, and then got killed on the first stage 3rd time through. Overall a very enjoyable game, and one that I could play again and again. Okay, and on to my next game. The next game, played in exactly the same era and another Konami title, is Tutankhamun. It's actually been a while since I've played this one. So in this game you're sort of like the Indiana Jones going through the Temples of Doom, and this is, also in the era of that movie as well. This is where this game came out. It's quite a difficult game. Has quite a high difficulty level, as is shown by me doing so poorly in it at the moment. Well, that could just be that I haven't played it for ages, and you could see that I was point grabbing. It has really rich sound and an interesting game mechanic where you can shoot left or right. You also do have like a flash bomb to clear out the enemies. So there's the first stage, and each map is a bit longer, as you can see. Haha, and I died again. Alright, I'll probably need a bit more practice on that one, but that's my number 2. Okay, and next on our list is the game Jarus. Now, of course, this is really what I call an evolution of the game Galaga. So I could have had Galaga in my cabinet, but I would much prefer to play this one because it's a bit more interesting. And I did play this one more than I played Galaga. So it actually has reasonably similar concepts, except for the fact that it borrows a lot on Galaga for some of its concepts. And also, it adds a bit of a goal and everything like that. You've got to try and get all the way to Earth, work your way through the planets. Now this is later in my arcade playing thing, so after Time Pilot and Tutankhamun in release stages. And I just think I was less of an arcade fanatic at the time, so I probably, I can't remember exactly which planet, but I never did make it to Earth. although there were some people in the arcades that I used to frequent. that that did indeed make it all the way. Okay, next one of the games in my 6-game cabinet is Donkey Kong. Now, Donkey Kong I'd probably would prefer in a cabinet all by itself and to be an original Donkey Kong, but I really can't. I mean, it's going to be a long time before I can get a cabinet in my collection. So, if I'm going to have a cabinet, it should have 6 games. It'd be great to have 6 games in it. But I would settle for having it in a 6-game cabinet rather than a standalone. So Donkey Kong is just one of those games that I love playing. Not too bad at getting a reasonable score on. Not that this particular playing would tell you that. And this is one of those all-time classic games that you can have great fun with. And get a lot of gameplay out of. You know, it just survives to this day. I mean, you just can't beat the old classic Donkey Kong. So in any demo game you've got to at least defeat Mr. Kong at least once. Now, what game collection would be complete without a game by Williams, and of course it has to be Defender, a game that I was never particularly good at. I don't think a lot of people were. It definitely has to be played with an arcade controller. My pathetic attempt here at trying to control it with keys in the MAME emulator is not going to cut it. This is something you just have to play in an arcade cabinet, and is virtually the only one I've selected that requires more than 2 buttons. And it is just one of those games you have to have. You've got to have a really hard game, so definitely Defender. Now the last of the games that would be in my 6 game cabinet, and the most modern, would be Raiden. The original Raiden, because this is the one I'm most familiar with. Although I suppose it's a cheating if it was one of the newer ROMs that included most of the versions of Raiden. Is that cheating? But anyway, an appropriate Raiden board. This is just one of the best vertical scrolling shooters. Now obviously being limited to 6, I've had to eliminate a few games I would have liked. I mean, you know, Defender was my horizontal shooter, and this is my vertical shooter. Other horizontal shooters could have been R-Type, and even the original Scramble too, you know, it's an absolute classic arcade game. But this is a really good one. You can play 2-player co-op as well. And it just represents the penultimate, in my opinion anyway, of the vertical scroller. So there you go, there's my 6 game cabinet.